welcome to Rod's Guitar Workshop, episode number 5, if I'm not miscounting. And today I thought it would be cool to talk about the power of pentatonic scales. So pentatonic, pent means 5, tonic means tone. So these are 5-tone scales. These are typically the first ones that we all learn. Okay? So for simplicity, I'm going to put them in the key of A for right now. So just to refresh on your pattern, it's first finger, 5th fret, A, pinky up at the 8th fret, C, 5th fret on the D, on the A string is D, 3rd fret, E, first finger, 5th fret on the D, 3rd finger, 1st finger, 3rd, 4th, 1st, 4th. Okay, so you'd have. And that's the A minor pentatonic scale. Everything I like to do, I like to break into an E string pattern and an A string pattern. And the cool thing about the pentatonic scale is you do that, you basically have a position all over the neck. So if I was just to jump down and do D minor pentatonics, because I'm at the same fret, the pattern is slightly different, but it's going to be 1st finger, 4th finger, so it'd be 5th fret, 8th fret on the A string, 1st finger for the 5th fret on the D, 3rd finger for the 7th fret on the D, 1st finger is the 5th fret on the G, 3rd finger, 7th fret on the G. So right to there it's all the same. Then we're going to shift up. I'm going to go up 1/2 step there, so I'm going to be at the 6th fret, and then 3rd finger is going to be at the 8th fret, back down to the 5th fret on the high E string, and back down to the pinky on the 8th fret, and then I can go up 2 frets to the 10th fret in the key of D, back to the root note. Okay, you can use your 2nd and your pinky if you want. Keeps you from having to shift, whichever's easier. Everyone's hands are different, you know. So that's going to be the pattern. Now if I put this in A, just to show you how this is all going to overlap on the fingerboard, I'd have an open position A pattern here. Everything that would normally be a first finger is going to be an open string. Then I have the E string pattern. Okay. Then I have an A string pattern. And back to that E string pattern again. So you can tell the only place I had a little bit of no man's land was right in here. And I do have a one octave pattern right here. So I could play that with my 2nd finger on the 9th fret on the G string, 1st finger on the 8th fret on the B, 3rd finger is 10th fret on the B, 1st finger is 8th fret on the high E, 3rd finger is 10th fret on the high E. Really, you wouldn't need anything more than that. You could play everything right there in a whole song and you'd be fine. So, just so you all realize, if you're not sure how this works, we just played the entire neck of the guitar in A minor pentatonic, but it's still only 5 notes, okay, that just keep repeating themselves and are played in different positions. So you haven't gained anything, except they'll sound slightly different depending on where you play them on the neck of the guitar. Now, we want to talk about using these creatively. Okay, so if I play a minor pentatonic, basically I want to use that over minor chords. There's also a major pentatonic, which we'll talk about in a second. But we're all pretty familiar with that minor pentatonic, so that tends to where we'll start. And we tend to think about a blues change, right? And by the way, if you want to make it a blues scale, you just flat the 5th in there. So I'd have this. Makes it the blues scale you probably already know. That's best use is going to be like over a 7th chord, or if it's a minor pentatonic, over minor key changes. Okay, that's where it's going to work the best. It works also over top of a chord change that doesn't have a 3rd in it. So if I was playing like a boogie shuffle like this, A, D, and E, where you don't want to use it, and this is the big mistake people make a lot of times, is they'll play that over everything because that's the scale they're comfortable with, or that's the one they know. And they'll even play it over major changes. So like if it was a key of A major and I was going, I can get that in there, but it just really is not a good fit for that. We would want to use a major scale or a major pentatonic over that. A lot of times people shy away from major because it's harder to use, okay? So I know I did. When I was learning, I was like, oh, major scales, these are hard to improvise with. I can go back to that pentatonic and have it be simple. Don't shy away from them. Put that extra time in on the stuff, and you'll find that it really takes your playing to a different level. Because what people respond to in solos is melody, okay? So anytime we're improvising or playing a lead, we should be thinking about playing something that could be whistled or hummed back to us when we're done. If we do that, we really accomplish something, and you know, kind of makes it a little more musical. So how do we do that with a pentatonic scale? Well, we have all of these bends and stuff that we're talking about. But I really want to think in terms of not playing the scale. This is how we practice it, right? The problem with that is, every time I get a guitar solo, if that's how I practice it, what's my lead going to sound like? It's going to sound like this. Because that's what I spent all my time practicing. So we always want to practice things musically. And what I mean by that is I can take any combination of these notes out of the pentatonic scale to form my melody line, okay? Now, I like to think about scale patterns kind of like a palette of colors. If I was an artist and I had 5 colors on my palette, I could paint anything. I could do a landscape, a building. It's not necessarily having the colors that makes you an artist. It's the skill in what you do with them to create a painting, right? So if you were an artist and we each had the same 5 colors on our palette, and you painted a beautiful landscape with a barn in the back and a stream running down, you know, and a duck, and I painted brown with the same colors, because I don't have the skill set you had to do that painting. These scales are the same thing. They're one of the few things that you can actually know the patterns and know the technique involved in them and still not be able to make anything musical out of them. And if we're honest, we can probably all say that we've been in that situation at some point. Maybe we still are at times. So they take a little bit more work. So, but I can take them in any order I want to create a melody. Okay? I can jump around. And when I practice scales or anything else, I try and do it musically. So I'll actually try and play a tune. And even though I'm practicing the scale, I'm trying to pick melodies out I'm hearing in my head. I'm just improvising. What's kind of in my head, I'm trying to make it come out. Which is kind of a cool way to practice, because now when you go to play over a song with a jam track or with your band or whatever, you're going to be used to try and build these melodies. Another tip with the scales, and this one we would think would be obvious, but we all do this, is we never play, or very rarely play, the same note twice, right? Because as we're practicing, we're always jumping off the notes. But if you listen what a melody is the same note played more than once oftentimes. So I might go, don't hit a wrong note, how about this note? So in that instance, I played the same note more than one time. Now the other thing that is going to make your stuff come to life is we've got to have a pause in it, right? So that's another thing that if you were playing saxophone, you have a forced pause because you have to breathe, right? So at some point you're going to have to stop playing, inhale and take a breath. Well, on the guitar, we can run this nonsense non-stop right till I have to go to the bathroom or get hungry, whichever comes first. My fingers will just keep going. I have no reason to stop. So I have to force myself to actually stop. And I'll do that by thinking in terms of a breath, right? So if I was playing, I'd play 4 or 5 notes in a pause. And a great way to practice this is to make the pause longer than you think it deserves, okay? Because you're always going to make it shorter because it's very uncomfortable. So a pause draws a listener into what you're doing, and it's actually the hardest thing to play on the guitar. People will go, what's the hardest thing to play on the guitar? I always say nothing. It's hard to stop and not play something, okay? So I'll always set something up and say, try and play a lead line 4 or 5 notes, and when you stop, hold the note for 8 beats, which is probably longer than you normally would in a solo, but it's going to really make you feel that tension. Can you feel that tension? So when we play something, and it doesn't matter if it's chords or single note thing, it really pushes the listener away because your ear will eventually fatigue. Okay, I don't know if you've experienced ear fatigue or not, but I'm sure we all probably have if you thought long enough about it. Silence draws us in. Okay, that's why we want to mix up volume when we play. Everything doesn't want to be the same volume, right? We want to mix it up because it draws the listener into what you're doing. So that's a great way to practice these minor pentatonic scales and blues. Okay. Now, like we said, there's also a major pentatonic, and the major pentatonic is exactly the same. The only difference is it starts on your pinky, but it will change the key. So, for example, if I play A minor pentatonic, just like we did, now if I started on my pinky, this becomes C major pentatonic, because this note's a C. And these are going to be much more melodic. You can't just kind of bungle your way through a major scale of any sort. But they're really important because you can still get great melodies. Okay, key is C. So you might say to yourself, self? So if I'm following what he's saying, the notes in the A minor pentatonic scale are exactly the same as the notes in the C major pentatonic scale. And you would be correct. That's called relative minor. Okay? So we will talk more about relative minor down the road a bit. But just know that every major key has a minor key that's exactly the same notes in it. And the easiest way to see that is in the pentatonic scale. So if you wanted to find out the relative major from any minor key, just go to your scale. So for example, F sharp minor, there's my F sharp minor pentatonic. If I started on my pinky, that's A major. So A major is the same notes as F sharp minor. Okay, but the concepts still apply. We're also going to do another video down the road on trying to make these have a vocal quality, and maybe I'll try and do that in the next couple of videos on this. So hopefully you got something out of this, and hopefully this helps take your playing to the next level. As always, if you have questions, post them in the comments, and I will do my best to try and address them. If you have a topic that you'd like to see covered that we can maybe clear up a little bit for you, that would be great. If you got something out of this and you liked it, please hit the subscribe button and the like button, and I would greatly appreciate it. Till the next video, have a great day.